Welcome to this edition of Meet the Press Slam. Thank you to all the new listeners from the Joe Lanza edition of Meet the Press Slam that was aired on Monco Radio and on the Social Suplex Podcast Network here. I have a great guest for you today. I have Griffin from the Voices of Wrestling website. How you doing, Griffin?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today, Danny?
Good. And you also have a great new podcast called The Draft.
I do. The draft. We draft your favorite wrestlers and we book cards that will either anger you or pop you. That's the goal.
Most of the cards popped me, so.
Well, I'm glad. Mine was the best, I know, but I think the rest of the cards were pretty good too.
Yeah, all the cards were pretty good. So do your lobbying now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. So I have Griffin on. We normally talk about our fandoms and stuff on here, and we normally talk about that. And Griffin, where did you first become a wrestling fan?
So I can't really pinpoint when I became a wrestling fan. For as long as I remember, professional wrestling has always been a part of my life. My dad used to watch when I was born. That was 1999. Everybody was watching at that point, right?
Right.
And as soon as I started watching it, I just became a fan instantly. One of my first memories was Edge spearing Jeff Hardy at WrestleMania X7 from the ladder.
Oh,
yeah.
So you were like 2 or 3.
I was 2. Yeah, I know. 2. I remember that spot. I don't know if it was because I rewatched it over and over again as a kid, or if I just remember that spot, and that might be my first actual memory. I don't know.
So I became a fan at the age of 8. A lot of people have heard this story. I can't pinpoint my fandom, but I knew it was at age 8 because it was around 2005, the JBL era.
Oh yeah, that era.
that great era.
Yeah.
I love Bo and JBL. It was a hell of a time. John Cena. I was a SmackDown kid. Were you Raw SmackDown kid?
Oh, that's a good question. 2005. I think my first house show was 2005. It was a SmackDown show. It had Simon Dean versus Bobby Lashley, I believe. So that was the one that came to town. But I liked Raw. Raw was the violent show. Raw had the blood.
Oh yeah, Raw did.
And I was like 6 years old at that point. It was just cool.
Yeah. I like SmackDown. I don't know why I like SmackDown better because it was on at a more reasonable time than Raw. That's probably
and they had the cruiserweights too, and the cruiserweights are cool when you're a kid.
Yeah,
they're cool when you're an adult too. Like some of the stuff they do is just wild.
Yeah, like I think El Hijo Del King is really cool, but I also think like Rey Mysterio is cool. So it's one of those things like I pinpoint that, but I also pinpoint a big moment in my fandom is Misawa dying for a weird reason. Because that's when I became a fan of Japanese wrestling. That's when I discovered Puro.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, who the hell is this Misawa guy? And why is he considered the greatest wrestler ever? Like, what was your first exposure to the smart wrestling fandom?
God, I joined the Wrestling Figs forum at age 10. So yeah, I've been in this whole IWC sphere for a long time now. At this point, I was way too young to join at that point, but whatever, it happens.
We're all way too young to join this stuff. I was part of the YouTube wrestling community at age 12.
I was watching people play with the wrestling figures before I joined the online wrestling community.
Somebody made a Titantron of me. Like a fake Titantron of me, of Randy Orton, when I was 12. So
I think my mom did the same thing. I think there was an app, you put your face in it and you had your Titantron.
Yeah.
My mom did the same thing. Yeah.
So I became more aware of the smart fandom around the age of 10, 11, 12,
Mhm.
but didn't really know anything. Like the first exposure to it was the Benoit tragedy.
Yeah.
Great. Tragedies are the exposure to the smart stuff. But
Apparently, yeah.
because I remember around the Benoit tragedy, it was like around 2008. They aired like that wrestling special, that like NBC wrestling special, like Wrestling Secrets Exposed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one with Harley Race as the booker?
Yeah, that was the Benoit. I thought that was a lot earlier than the Benoit tragedy. I thought that was the
Yeah,
90s,
that
but
was
I
in
don't know.
99 when they initially aired it. But
Oh, you aired it?
it was a rerun on My Network TV. They
Ah,
did like
okay.
a wrestling blog. I didn't
Yeah.
know it was as old as 1999.
Yeah, maybe it was earlier than 99. I swear it was the 90s. Don't quote me on that. But I don't know. If you look at it, it looks very 90s.
Yeah, it's a very 90s television program. But
Mhm.
that's where I learned all the terms. Like Booker,
Mhm.
base, heel, stuff like that. And I'm like, this is sort of cool. This is sort of cool knowing the terms of all this stuff. And then I sort of learned all the sort of terms of everything. And then I sort of like when did you learn all the terms?
Probably around the same time I joined WFigs. Like I got access to the internet and I just went wild. Like Wikipedia, that's where I learned all the terms of Wikipedia. Going
Wikipedia,
down
yeah.
the professional wrestling term list
Oh yeah,
and checking
that
out all
term
the
list
old
is amazing.
results. Like as soon as I found that stuff out, and as soon as I found that I could find all this old information on Wikipedia online, I jumped right in.
And then my mom had an old boyfriend who got me introduced to torrents.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. and that's where my world got open to independent wrestling. So it just widened my world a lot to figure out like when did you discover independent wrestling? I'd say around 2010 for me.
I want to say around that time too. Just trying to think. I think my first exposure to independent wrestling was watching death matches on YouTube. Around every kid has that deathmatch phase in their early teens. I swear by it. Like I've talked to a few other wrestling fans, and they've also had that deathmatch phase in their early teens. And I don't know, maybe it's just the extreme violence really
Oh, it's
grabs
the
your
extreme
attention or something
violence.
like that.
And
I
then
guess so, yeah.
And then you see somebody like a Thumbtack Jack who was around in that time period, and he was like really insane.
Yeah.
He was insane. He was like putting like needles in people's. I'm like,
I can't do the needle spot. Like I wasn't able to do it then. I can't do it now. I have to look away.
yeah. I initially looked away when he was doing it, when he did it to Mox. But of course, Mox did it
Oh yeah,
because
of course.
he's freaking Mox. But I'm like, everybody has that deathmatch phase. And then the BJW stuff was an early influence on me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the first New Japan match I watched was 2013. I think that's when I got more serious. That's when I discovered voices. That's when I discovered the more smarter stuff like PWO, stuff like that, Death Valley Driver, stuff like that, where I'm like, I'm going to start taking this a little more seriously.
Yeah, definitely.
Where would you say you took this would be?
Took it seriously, like going into wrestling media, I guess.
Not going into wrestling media, but like sort of like going into like wrestling. Yeah, going into wrestling media and then consuming as much content as possible.
So that was really when I went off to university. Went off to university for one of my intro to essay writing classes. I did something about the New Japan US expansion, I believe, and I sent that off to Rich to get that included in the New Japan ebook. I think that might have been the 2018 ebook. So that was added to the ebook, and then from there I started writing about 205 Live for the website, and then from there it just kept going on. I just created a bunch of friends through Voices of Wrestling. This year I've done the Mania weekend previews. I've had a lot of fun doing all this stuff, and it wouldn't have happened if I didn't have that one class in university where I did that one essay and then sent it off to be published.
Right, and getting it published is really cool. I've gotten stuff published on BOW myself. I had the wrestling and mental health thing published on BOW myself. Mm-hmm. And that was a really cool thing that got published last year, relating my story to wrestling and how it saved my life and stuff like that. And like, I'm thinking, what are some of your favorite matches?
That is such a loaded question.
I know.
Because it changes every day.
I know it does.
God. Do you want like historical favorite matches?
Historical. Like, do you have a ballot on the Observer? Yeah,
I do.
You do? Oh,
yeah.
So you've done a lot of research on this stuff.
I do not like stick to one thing when I research or when I watch wrestling. Like I will bounce around from different places. Like one day I'll be watching some 1970 Bruno, and the next day I'll be watching some Pro Wrestling Freedoms. Right. And the next day I'll be watching some Japanese shindy that is happening in front of 20 fans.
Like, how do you have the attention span for that? Because sometimes I struggle with the attention span stuff, and trying to get all this watching done, because like there's all these projects going on. Like I'm trying to like watch as much as possible, yet there's so much wrestling to watch.
Yeah, I have the ability to work from home, which is really nice. So I'll be working on my work setup, and then I'll have some random wrestling event going on my personal laptop, just on the side. I'm not really watching it per se. I'm keeping an eye on it, listening to it. If there's a cool spot, I'll watch it. That's usually how I watch most of the smaller stuff nowadays. But I can sit down in front of my TV and just bang through a wrestling event if I really want to. Right now, I've been going back to watching some old ECW, like some from the very first date. So I'm watching 92, 93 at the moment. I don't know. It's just nice because I'll watch Dynamite on Wednesday. I'll probably watch a few other indies, and then in between there, I could just shut my brain off and just watch this old stuff. Right. And like, I sort of think, I think that's the best part about wrestling. You can shut off your brain while doing it. And I think that's what people have failed to realize is like, we all, like, some people don't like, I think people in the media think too much when it comes to wrestling, and it hurts the overall product. In a way. Yes and no. Like, if your job is to watch all this wrestling and have thoughts and opinions on it, I'm not going to understand watching all these shows with a critical point of view. But if sometimes you just want to watch a show just to watch a show, like, you can do that as well. Like, if I'm watching, I don't know, a pro wrestling heat up show, I'm not going to do a review on that. I'm not going to write down any thoughts on that. I might throw a thought or two on Twitter or the Discord. But other than that, I'm not going to write a whole review. So it's just something that you watch to watch. You don't watch to review.
Right. You don't watch the review. And I've never gotten the whole review thing down. It's like, it's a lot of work.
Like, yeah, it can be. It can be. It depends on how you want to review it. Like, I've been reviewing the Game Changer wrestling shows lately for Voices of Wrestling. And instead of doing match by match, I just give my overall thoughts on the show and some thoughts here and there about each match if I have them. And then sometimes I'll just do a quick recap of this happened, this spot looked cool. This match happened, this wrestler sucked.
Yeah, or this wrestler sucked, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched the Alley Catch Charles Mason steel cage match the other week.
Oh, that sounds awful.
It was a match. It was a steel cage match. It definitely happened. I watched it. That was basically all my thoughts on it, pretty much. Like, yeah. You got to accept the bad sometimes. Like, wrestling can't always be great, unfortunately. I know Dynamite tries. But sometimes you just have god-awful stuff, and you just have to get through it.
No, yeah. You just try, and it's just like it really, yeah. Sometimes the bad stuff can be fun to watch.
Yeah, if it's fun bad, then that's great. If it's bad, oh no thanks. Like
no. So, what? So WrestleMania weekend. What are you looking most forward to? You did do some audio for Voices of Wrestling on part 1 of the preview podcast.
Yes. You can catch my thoughts on a few shows with I did the preview with Rich Creech for Voices of Wrestling. We discussed a bunch of the smaller shows that will not be streaming anywhere, unfortunately. But I would definitely go to some of them. Like there was Real Deal Resin's WrestleMania where you can go sesh with the Godfather. Like I'd go do that.
I'd love to do that. Yeah.
Like when are you gonna? You'll never have another opportunity to go smoke weed with the Godfather. Like, come on.
Oh hell yeah.
And then you got like a Gringo Loco match on the card, and like it's great. It's all you need. And there's also Compton Mania. Like Compton Mania is going to head with like Ring of Honor, I believe. If I was in Los Angeles, I'd probably go to Ring of Honor, but I think about going to Compton Mania. Like it's just one of those small shows that is not going to be good, but it'll be a vibe.
Yeah, it's like one of those vibes that you want to be at.
Exactly.
It's like one of those vibes where it's like, yeah, this is a vibe, and I want to be there. Yeah,
definitely. It's just something that you don't know you need it until you do it. Like there's some wrestling shows where you go and you're like, I don't really want to go, or the card looks bad, but then you go and you experience it, and then you come out of it and you're like, wow, I'm glad I went. Like I've gone to a few shows like that where the card really didn't look good, but I went with my friends, so it was like their first time going to a wrestling show, and then we come out of it and we're all jazzed, we're all hyped up because there's nothing like live wrestling, right?
Nothing like it. So even a bad live wrestling show is awesome. Even a bad one is the best.
I don't know. WWE TV taping would be.
No. I was at Raw 30th anniversary. Nah, and I got.
Is that the one that just happened?
I got a free ticket in a suite. So
were drinks and food included?
No, but
I wouldn't have gone. Yeah, he couldn't pay me enough.
But the view was pretty awesome. But I had charging access to my phone, so that was good.
Yeah, I guess you gotta find the positives when you go to a show like Raw 30. Or sorry, Raw XXX. Uncooked, uncensored. Yeah.
They started the build to that WrestleMania match there. Oh God. I'm not looking forward to WrestleMania, as you guys can tell.
No, you don't have a soft spot for like Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley, or the Demon versus the Thespian in a Hell in a Cell.
When they did the Demon last night, I'm like, oh God. Like they used to drag that out for special occasions. Now it's like a joke.
Well, I heard the Hell in a Cell isn't going to be a giant red blob anymore, so there's that. There's a positive there.
What's positive?
You got to look at the positives as well as the negatives, and that might be one of the only positives of WrestleMania this year.
But Roman Cody's probably going to be like a 40-minute long drag.
Probably. I'm trying to think of something positive to say about Roman and Cody. Not much is coming to mind.
Oh.
The pop Cody will get when he wins the title will be
if he wins the title. Because
if he wins the title. If he wins the title, yeah.
Because they always could have that ego trip of he was at that other company.
Oh yeah, Vince McMahon in the back and Gorilla with his mustache. Oh god damn it, pal! Cody Rhodes from AEW. Why are we putting their title on Rhodes or something like that? That was a horrible Vince impression. But,
that was great.
But you got you got it there. You got the pal.
Got the pal. Yeah.
He's choking his mustache backstage.
Yeah, it's just. I'm just not looking for. This is the first WrestleMania in the history of my thing where I'm not looking forward to it, and I may not have internet access, so I may be tethering on my phone. But it's like, is it worth tethering on my phone to? Do you
have a limited data on your plan?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say if you don't have a limited data, then no, it's not worth it. If you have a limited data, then maybe the WrestleMania Showcase Tag Team match might pique your interest.
There's nothing that beats it's on the show.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to watch WrestleMania this year. I don't know if I'll watch WrestleMania. There was a time where I had to be home on the Sunday night for WrestleMania. One year, it was WrestleMania 30. It was a big one. I had a football practice that went late. And I was so pissed off that football practice went late because I wanted to go home and watch WrestleMania. But nowadays, I'll make plans during WrestleMania. I don't care. I'll watch the show later if needed.
I'm a little more pissed that I might miss Supercard Honor.
Well, that is the WrestleMania weekend this year. Like that's the big show.
Yeah, that's a big show to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Commander versus El Hijo del Vikingo might be the match of the weekend, and I'm like,
Vikino's WrestleMania weekend is just loaded with good matches. It's insane to think about. Like it's just banner after banner after banner.
And think about, you used to have to pay $100 for all the GCW shit. Now you're only paying $7.99 a month.
Well, I got mine for $5.99. I got Fight Plus months ago. Yeah, for $6. I mean, I'll watch every single show that the collective has because it's $6. Why not? Circle 6 is live streaming all their stuff for free, so there's more free wrestling.
Yeah.
And then I have other ways to watch some other stuff.
Yeah. I have Peacock, so I don't have the. And then I have another way to watch Supercard of Honor.
At Kroger, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we're dedicated to doing up to a 27-point inspection on our fruits and veggies, checking for things like scarring. In fact, only the best produce like zesty oranges and crisp carrots reach our shelves. Because when it comes to fresh, our higher standards mean fresher produce. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save big on your favorites with the Buy 5 or More, Save $1 each sale. Simply buy 5 or more participating items and save $1 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
I'm not going to tell anyone.
Well, I'll be watching it on Fight because we get that up here. No, I'll watch it on Fight. I'll give Tony Khan my money. I trust Tony Khan's booking.
No, I trust Tony Khan's booking. I just don't have the money right now.
Well, that's fair.
But what else do we have here? Let's talk about favorite matches. Why am I even thinking about this? We were on favorite matches, and then we got all favorite matches on WrestleMania weekend, and then it just I'm ill prepared, but it's okay.
Sorry, I've gone on a few tangents here, but I can talk about favorite matches. Yeah, definitely. TLC 1 and 2. Those if those matches didn't happen, I don't think I'd be a wrestling fan. Trying to think of other big matches that happened that really shaped my fandom.
I think
It's
Kurt
not
Angle,
really-
Shawn Michaels for me was the one that shaped my thing of like wrestling can be an art form
Yes. Yeah.
from WrestleMania 21,
Yes.
and that's an underrated WrestleMania match that a lot of people don't give a lot of credit to.
Yep. That is a good one. I think of Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho. I believe that's WrestleMania 19.
Yeah,
That was another one that really captured my interest as a kid. And then you go to ECW One Night Stand, the first one. Like, I can't really say that there's a big match there that really is my favorite, but the entire event, the entire show.
the entire aesthetic of that show is just like bliss.
Yeah, exactly. It's mint. It's
And
great.
I think for me, the New Japan match that inspired me the most was Katsuyori Shibata versus Tomohiro Ishii from the G1.
Yes.
I forgot what G1 number that was. It was the one that blew up and got 5 stars.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that's a good one for New Japan. Point to an Okada Tanahashi match, and there you go. That's one of my favorites. You can just pick them all, really.
Yeah, you can pick them all.
Yeah.
I'm more partial to the Wrestle Kingdom 10 match than any of them because I watched that one live.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't around during Invasion Attack. I wasn't around during I watched Wrestle Kingdom 9 live.
Mm-hmm.
But Wrestle Kingdom 10 is when I really got invested. So I'm more partial to Wrestle Kingdom 10. Okada Omega, of course. All 3 of them are ones that will shape my fandom for the rest of my fandom.
Yeah, definitely. Going away from New Japan and another modern Puro match that I could say is one of my favorites, like definitive favorites, was Pac versus KZ in Dragon.
Ooh. Yeah.
That was the top of my match of the year list that year. I believe it was 2019. I'm not good with dates really, but I'm
not good with dates either. I'm looking up a date of a match right now. Do you remember that Fortune Dream promotion?
Yes.
It's the match where it's from Fortune Dream 4. It was a tag match between I forgot who was in that tag match. I'm gonna look it up real quick. And while I look it up, you fill the air. It was from 2017.
2017?
Yeah, it was Daisuke Sekimoto. No, it wasn't that one. Oh, fuck. Why am I? It was Fortune Dream 4. It wasn't the Shingo Fortune Dream tag. It was the I'm trying to think of a Fortune Dream tag. It was the one where they bow at Kenta Kobashi.
Mm.
It was Go Shiozaki and Yuji Okabayashi defeat Daisuke Sekimoto and Yuji Hino.
I don't think I've seen that match. Is there a link to it?
I could send you a link to that match.
Out. Yeah, yes, please.
Yes, that match is awesome.
Yeah,
I just love that match because they bow. One of the spots is, I believe, Okabayashi and Hino both bow to Kenta Kobashi while he's at the commentary table and just start chopping each other.
That's one hell of a spot. I love those spots.
Just the honor spot.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's one of my favorite spots of all time. Just bowing to Kenta Kobashi when you're chopping each other.
One of my favorite spots of all time was happening in TNA. It was Jeff Hardy doing the swanton off the top of the stage and clearing the rest of the stage onto.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Do you know the one?
I believe I remember that spot. Yeah.
Yeah, great spot. Like I was a young kid. I was just starting to get into TNA, Jeff Hardy was my favorite wrestler in the WWF, WWE. So really that started my fandom into TNA.
I got into TNA early because TNA aired on Fox Sports before they were on Spike. So we would watch Velocity, me and my brother, and then TNA. So TNA would air at midnight, and then Velocity would be on 11 on Saturday night. And we were allowed to stay up late on Saturday night because it wasn't a school night. So we would stay up, watch Velocity, and then watch Impact.
Yeah. Velocity, that's a blast from the past.
Velocity was a great little show.
Oh, they had great matches. Like they had the cruiserweight matches. Like I think there was a few Akio versus Paul London matches. Yeah, those things stand the test of time. Like you go watch those now, and it's great.
Yeah.
Like they're fun.
Like Akio. Yeah, I just love scouring the Monsoon Classic channel. Sometimes I wish you could put a channel on shuffle.
Yeah, I think you can. I think you can. You can create a playlist and then shuffle it from there.
Yeah, shuffle it from there.
Like I've started to do that with Butcher TV. I've been watching a lot of Abdullah the Butcher matches.
Oh my god,
it's a vibe. You watch one, you watch them all, but it's great. Something about those bloody brawls. I love them.
Yeah. But I used to do a podcast called Great Match Generator here on the Social Suplex Podcast Network, and just watching all these different great matches, like some of the best matches are from like the 50s and 70s, like the French Catch.
Oh yes,
I love the French Catch.
I'll throw on a French Catch match just out of the blue some days and just watch it. Or listen to it while I'm working and stuff like that. Like some of them are fantastic.
Yeah, what I do now is I have a couple YouTube playlists in my back pocket where I put them on shuffle, and of random wrestling TV shows, and just fall asleep to them because they're not boring. Just because there's just perfect soundtrack.
Yeah.
To my chaos, and that's how I get it. And I just love jobber matches. I love, and this is why I like AEW Dark.
I have fallen behind on Dark. I used to be a dark pervert, as they say. Watch them all.
I'm not a dark pervert like I used to be, but
in the pandemic, there was nothing going on, and you have 3 hours of wrestling. You might as well watch it.
Oh yeah. So, you are a wrestler. You said you were a Wrestling Observer Hall of Famer ballot. So, can you tell me your process a little bit when you vote and stuff like that?
I like to do as much research as I can. Last year, I went on a big research project, a research binge on Wild Bull Curry. I wrote an article about that for Voices of Wrestling as well. And it's just nice to go back and watch all these old pioneers that have created a style that I enjoy so much nowadays.
Right.
But my process for the research is go look through their history, go do a Google search, read some bios here and there, and then find as much footage as I can and just watch as much as is possible to form an opinion, to form an educated opinion. Like there's some guys where I might be a big fan, but when I do the research for the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame, I'm looking to see is this guy a Hall of Famer? Does this guy have the credentials to be one of the best of all time? So like you have guys like Jeff Hardy on the ballot, and I'm probably one of the biggest Jeff Hardy marks out there. But when you do the research for the for the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame, it's like, not really. He doesn't really fit the criteria of a Hall of Famer. So really, that's my process, is just jump in, find as much information as I can, and go from there.
Yeah. I just love finding information about wrestling. I just love it.
I love learning new things, like new tidbits here and there. Like that's one reason why I'm a big fan of Joe Lanza's Jovember to Remember series on the flagship Patreon.
Yes.
I'm learning new things about ECW. I see you've sent me a link to a wrestling match here.
I sent you the link to the Fortune Dream match.
Oh, it's Fortune Dream 3, not Fortune Dream 4. Okay.
It's Fortune Dream 3.
You kept saying Fortune Dream 4. I'm like, oh man, Fortune 4 is going back to the TNA days.
Fortune Dream 3. Fortune Dream was a Kenta Kobashi promotion that he ran once a year.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Fortune Dream. Liam Jones from the You've Got to Be Kidding Me podcast and I discuss TEW booking quite a bit. Like we both like doing the Total Extreme Wrestling booking games.
Oh yeah.
And I think he had a Fortune Dream game going at one point, and he was showing me his graphics and his cards and stuff like that. So like I'm familiar with the name, I'm familiar with the promotion, but I've never seen this match. I'll definitely watch this match.
Yeah, this
probably
match
after this
little conversation. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, the drafts you're doing is really fun too. I listened to it a little earlier today, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you. It's been an idea that Sean Cedar and I have had for quite a while, and we thought WrestleMania week would be a great opportunity to really dive into this idea. And I think it was a hit. Liam Jones, like I mentioned earlier, from the You've Got to Be Kidding Me podcast, and Tyler Forness from the Good, the Bad, the Hungy, both on the VOW podcast network. They came on. We had a fun time. I love the card that I built. Like, I don't know why more companies don't do good cards that with wacky ideas for WrestleMania weekend. Like sometimes you have wacky ideas with bad cards. But come on, I booked a Tornado Cibernetico. Like that's all you need for WrestleMania weekend, right?
Oh, that's all you need.
Yeah. I am not winning that poll, by the way.
No, you're not. The Will Ospreay, Claudio Castagnoli.
Oh, I know.
To be fair, that is a hell of a match to book.
Yes, that is.
That'd be one hell of a match to have. Tornado Cibernetico would be fun.
Yeah, they were all great cards. We had a lot of fun, and your listener feedback has been great. A lot of people dig the idea, and a lot of people are having fun listening to us have fun, book these shows, and steal draft picks from each other.
I'm looking at these cards right now. Psycho Clown versus Commander from Reach for the Sky, Hollywood. Reach for the Hollywood Stars boy.
Yeah,
One.
Reach for the Hollywood Stars, the Jay Briscoe Memorial Show with no Mark Briscoe. That's what happens when people steal your draft picks.
El Hijo del Vikingo versus Nick. That would actually be good.
I know. We booked good Mania cards. Like these are Mania cards that I could see happening this weekend.
Phoenix and Pentagon. All of the stars are here. I'm looking at Kota Ibushi versus Konosuke Takeshita. That could happen. That very well could happen.
That would be a great match.
Yeah. So, but I'm not going to give away everything.
You can give away the cards, and I'll ask you if you have a favorite, and I know which one you should pick. I won't hold it against you. Pick something else.
Tornado Cibernetico. So you have Jun Akiyama, Nico Casas, Jake Something, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Eddie Edwards, Titus Alexander, and Kenta on one side versus Eddie Kingston, Arez, Black Taurus, Aussie Open, Latigo, Toxin, and that actually would be a lot of fun. Twitch Play Conspiracy versus Ciclope and Miedo Extremo. Jack Hartwell versus Galeno Del Mal and Sexy Star versus Athena.
Not that Sexy Star, just to be clear.
Not that Sexy Star, but
Sexy
another.
Star 2.
That would actually be good.
Yeah, these are the types of creative cards that we come up with on the draft. Right now, you can listen to this first episode. I have it linked on my Twitter at Hollywood12. That's HollyWD12. And keep an eye
with
out.
Mike Tenay, with the famous Mike Tenay.
Yes. Oh, Mike Tenay is my YouTube profile picture. My Twitter is Bruno Sammartino. And then
where does that Mike Tenay profile pic come from? It seems like everyone is grasping onto that Mike Tenay profile pic.
That was I think it was the TNA where Don West quit. I went on that rant, and that was Mike Tenay's reaction. I believe that's the meme face there.
Oh my god.
But yeah, if you just look at my profile pictures on all these social media websites, you could see just how varied my wrestling fandom goes. You got Mike Tenay for like YouTube, you got Bruno Sammartino for Twitter, and you got Gorilla Monsoon for Discord.
Yes, I can confirm the Gorilla Monsoon for Discord.
Yeah.
I can confirm that actually, because it's right there when I was messaging you. So that's your main plug. Do you have any other writings or anything else?
Well, I write for voicesofwrestling.com. This week I've been doing a lot of WrestleMania weekend previews. Like I have the Real Deal Resin Mania preview for the website. Wow. I've previewed the Compton Mania. What's the full show title name? 1 second here.
That is cool.
Compton Mania, Where You From? 2023 Compton versus the World. I previewed that one. That one has Auntie Heidi in that Compton versus the World tag team match. And I've done a few other previews that have yet to go up, but they might go up by the time you're listening to this here for Pandemonium Pro. I also did the preview for Micromania Midget Wrestling Tour.
Midget.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think that was
Yeah. So there's those previews. I've also been doing the Mania Weekend 2023 schedule that we have up at the voicesofwrestling.com website. It is the original. It is the best. Some people like to take it and use it for their websites, but we all know where the original comes from, and we all know who does it best.
It's Voices of Wrestling.
It is the Voices of Wrestling official WrestleMania weekend full schedule and map. We have the map. I don't think any other websites have the map.
No, not many people do. I don't know what's it going to be like for Philadelphia because it's going to be all over the place for Philadelphia.
If I was a wrestling promoter, I have a few ideas for WrestleMania in Philadelphia, and most of them center around ECW. But not old school, not like the newer ECW, like the late 90s. I'd go old school. Like you need to get the Super Destroyers and Hunter Q. Robbins III on your card.
Hell yeah.
Like if you have something like Joey Janela's Spring Break and you don't have the Super Ds on there, like what are you doing in Philadelphia?
Or Jay Sully.
Yeah. Get Stevie Wonderful on the call. Get him up in the booth with Dave Prazak and Veda Scott.
You know, get Jay Sully up there on the call too.
Yeah. Exactly. Like it's all. That's what you need to do. Instead of doing like everybody's seen the late stage ECW tribute shows. Give us something fresh. Give us 1992.
Get Hervé Ernesto in there.
Well, yeah, Jimmy Snuka is a hard booking nowadays, but we get other people.
Okay. Yes. It would be hard to go to Cabrini University. It's up in Monco, but
yeah, you got.
I'm
you
actually in
Philadelphia,
so
I'm actually going to go to WrestleMania. Are you going to go to WrestleMania weekend next year?
I'm gonna go to the indie shows. I'm not sitting in like with the link and doing that
No,
shit.
you don't want to go see WrestleMania. What if Triple H, Paul the Game, becomes Booker of the Year and books a one hell of a year and has a very interesting main event feud between, I don't know, Cody Rhodes versus Seth frickin' Rollins, and it's the best book, and it's the best book storyline of the year. You won't give it a shot?
No,
me neither.
The only way that, and I know it's not happening, is if Kenny Omega waltzes his ass over there.
Oh, what if CM Punk goes back to WWE? That won't get you.
No, I'm bitter about him. I'm bitter about CM Punk. He used to be my favorite. He was my favorite at one point too when I was a kid. But at this point, I just laugh with everything. I just laugh at him because he's so immature.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with wrestling, right? The maturity levels of some of these wrestlers are very low, but they're great wrestlers, and the backstage stories are fantastic. So you know what? Yeah. If they want to be petty, can I cuss on this podcast?
Yes.
Okay, if they want to be petty little bitches, that's fine by me because I will take the drama.
Yeah, petty. Yeah, I can. We're not on Monco Radio, so the language is fine here.
Okay, good. I'm
glad to have that.
Pardon my French.
but I can't. But you can listen to the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We have great podcasts such as One Nation Radio with Rich Lata and James Boyd. I said it like Joe. Oh my God. This is the influencer voices of wrestling around me. And keeping it strong style with the young boy Josh Smith and Jeremy Donovan and more podcasts. So keep it tuned to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Millions of Planet Fitness members are defeating low energy and finding their big fitness energy. And right now, you can join them for just $1 down and $10 a month. That's so nice, I think I'll say it twice. You can join Planet Fitness for $1 down and $10 a month. No commitment. Cancel anytime. What a deal! Join the judgment-free zone today and enjoy tons of equipment in a clean and spacious club. $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, April 5th. See Home Club for details.